Welcome back to Phantom Files Official, where the abandoned, the unsolved, and the terrifying are brought to life through chilling, true horror stories every night. This is day 6 of our 100-day horror series, and tonight's tale will drag you deep into a legend long whispered about by night shift taxi drivers, drifters, and forgotten townsfolk. The sinister story of the Halcyon Hotel, a place that vanished from official records decades ago, but still exists somewhere out on those endless, cracked country roads where the fog never quite lifts. The Halcyon was built in 1910 as a luxurious getaway for wealthy industrialists and railroad magnates who wanted a retreat far from prying eyes. Nestled deep in the hills of a nowhere town whose name is lost to time, it was said to be beautiful in its day. Towering stained glass windows, gold-gilded banisters, a ballroom with mirrors that stretched floor to ceiling. But even in its prime, rumors clung to it like ivy. Staff spoke of guests who arrived with strange companions, of music that continued playing long after the last dancer left, of doors that opened to impossible hallways. The first tragedy came in 1915, when a young chambermaid named Caroline was found drowned in the reflecting pool behind the hotel, her face twisted in a silent scream, though no water remained in her lungs. The doctor could not explain it. Whispers began that the Halcyon was built upon cursed ground, land once used by traveling preachers for dark rituals, where the bones of the vanished poor still lay buried. And yet, people continued to visit. The guests grew stranger, their parties wilder, with accounts of strange chanting heard in the night, of animal bones arranged in geometric patterns along the gardens. The local townsfolk stayed away, crossing themselves whenever the hotel was mentioned, yet the lights in its tall windows burned late into the misty evenings. By 1927, disappearances had begun. A traveling salesman, a young heiress, a group of musicians, all vanished within the hotel's walls. The police searched, but the guests and staff insisted they'd checked out. Their names no longer on the ledgers, their belongings missing. Investigators reported strange occurrences, scratches in the wallpaper resembling ancient symbols, entire rooms that appeared in photographs, but did not exist when searched, a heavy scent of decay in corridors freshly cleaned. The hotel fell into decline, its guests fewer, its staff thinner, yet those who stayed reported seeing figures watching from behind mirrors, doors opening on their own, and feeling, at all hours, the presence of something just behind them. By 1942, the Halcyon officially closed its doors, but locals claimed the lights still flickered on in the dead of night, and on certain evenings, one could still hear the waltz music from its long silent ballroom. The property was never demolished. Maps slowly stopped listing its location. Taxi drivers refused to take fares near it, and even county records held no trace of it, as though the land itself tried to forget. In 1976, a group of college students from a nearby town, fueled by stories told at midnight over beers, decided to spend a night in the Halcyon and document what they found, only to return. Both were incoherent, raving about doors that led to nowhere, a figure in a mask with eyes like polished glass, and a woman in white who whispered to them from the shadows, promising them eternal life if they stayed. The others were never found, though their cars remained parked outside the hotel's overgrown lot, keys still in the ignition. The surviving students later vanished from psychiatric care, their last journals filled with rambling references to the ballroom of the forever night and the doorway in the mirror. The Halcyon's reputation darkened further. Paranormal investigators attempted to find it, but those who did either lost their way, their equipment malfunctioning in the thick fog that clung to the hills, or returned pale and hollow-eyed. Speaking of floors that seemed to go on forever, rooms that shifted places, and voices calling their names in the voice of lost loved ones. Some said the hotel wasn't always there, that it appeared only to those it wanted, luring them in and vanishing again into mist. Others believed it was a nexus, a place where the veil between this world and something older and hungrier wore thin. In 1994, an entire tour bus carrying 7 passengers and a driver vanished along Old Briar Road. Last radio contact claimed they'd found refuge from a storm at a large, empty hotel, though no such structure appeared on satellite images. Only static answered further calls. The bus was never recovered. Local authorities fenced off the area, declaring it unstable, though no official reason was given. By now, the Halcyon was legend, a cautionary tale, but the stories persisted. Truckers claimed to see a grand, illuminated building from the highway, only to find no trace of it moments later. Hikers swore they heard orchestras tuning instruments in the dense mist, and old-timers spoke of fog so thick it could swallow sound itself. In recent years, digital age thrill seekers and horror enthusiasts obsessed over grainy, half-erased VHS tapes, allegedly recovered from within its walls. Fragments of black and white footage showing endless hallways, guests seated at empty banquet tables, and a figure in a moth-eaten tuxedo grinning into the camera with empty, silver dollar-sized eyes. No one who viewed these tapes for long remained unchanged. Cases of insomnia, psychosis, and disappearances followed those who sought them out. Online forums advised never looking too long at the ballroom scenes or the elevator footage, where a lone figure in a bellhop uniform waited eternally, smiling, waiting for someone to press a button. And yet the legend of the Halcyon continues. It's said that on nights when the fog settles low across forgotten country roads, you might catch a glimpse of warm light beyond the trees, hear the distant waltz of a bygone orchestra, and if you follow it, you'll find yourself standing before its grand, decaying facade, its doors open in welcome, the scent of aged wood and old roses in the air. Those who enter are rarely seen again, but if you find yourself there, remember one thing: never look into the mirrors. They are not windows into this world, but something older, and once you're seen, you belong to the hotel. And that, dear listeners, is tonight's true horror story from Phantom Files Official. If this tale chilled you to the bone, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying stories every night in our 100-day horror series. Turn on notifications, because tomorrow night, we return with another eerie, unforgettable legend drawn from the darkest corners of the world. Until then, stay safe, avoid the mist, and if you ever see a hotel where none should be, turn away, because some doors should never be opened.